What is going on, guys? Mr. Bazy here, and we're back yet again playing some more Seduce Me 2 The Demon War. You guys voted to have the giveaway in this episode, so hopefully you got your entries in, because obviously if you enter now, the winner's going to be selected at the end of the video. But hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Honestly, I'm honestly looking to finish Diana this time. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens, because we didn't train with anybody. We just kind of stayed on the wayside, boned a little bit. I mean, you know, we did what we normally do, you know, minus some things. We were kind of just in the bed the whole time. But either way, I've really enjoyed this. It's been completely different, which I love. I love the you know, how it's being spiced up, and it just feels really fresh. Like I was telling people in comments, it feels like I'm playing like a new game. You know what I mean? Because it's completely different. So again, before this video gets started, please enable bell notifications so that you can get the latest from my channel right when it's live. You'll know when all the new Seduce Me content's live, or all my videos in general if you're one of the people that like to watch my videos. So with that being said, let's get the video kicked off, and I hope you enjoy.
To think this will finally be over.
Once it is, you will become the new queen of this world.
Just don't die. I looked over to Diana, seeing a soft glimmer of fear on her face. Was she not prepared for that responsibility? I took her hand, causing her to look over at me in surprise. As I nodded, I let a grin paint over my face. You'll be an amazing queen. Sarah smiled as well, taking her other hand and making her look over to him.
That you will, and we will support you until the very end.
Well said. Dinah's face completely turned beet red as Sarah and I smirked at each other. We quickly leaned in and kissed both of Dinah's cheeks simultaneously, while everyone's just dying in the background, causing her to gasp and straighten up like an arrow. Fuck just boner status. During the time before the siege, Sarah and I managed to work out our differences and found ways to double team against Diana whenever she was feisty, stressed, or needed care. I had to admit, we were the perfect duo, I'm sure. Dinah shook her head violently and glared at both of us before pressing a kiss to each of our lips, causing us to shut up the laughter we had released upon seeing her blush. Dinah looked at the crowd and stepped forward, slightly arching her back towards the legions below. She no longer was just Diana, but she had become the mighty queen of the rebellion, one that I loved with all my heart. We've heard it. Okay. Dinah summoned her saber, letting it shine brilliantly as the purple taint over her skin began to twist and turn. Before my eyes, the taint on her back took shape, lifting off of Dinah's skin and morphed into her beautiful demonic wings. I think it's the first time I've ever heard that in a sentence. Beautiful demonic stuff. I watched with pride as Dinah's body lifted off of the ground and began to fly over the legions, slowly gliding towards the castle. Okay. And that cry marked the dawn of change. The demon world would end the age of the demon lord's tyranny and begin the age of united peace and prosperity. With Diana soaring through the air bowed to her and proved her worthy of such power. As I stared, time around me slowed as I took in everything that had happened. We were at the end of this war. Where would we truly go from here? Who knew? But I knew that I would be at Diana's side forevermore. I managed to seduce her into bringing me to a new world and experience everything. We were in love, and I was certain that she would become the beacon of life, not only for me, but for every demon in this world. After all, she managed to seduce me too. The demon lord... Wow. Seduce me too. The demon lord was only the beginning of our lives together. I'm sorry, the demon war was only the beginning. I was like, what, the demon lord?
Well, you did it! Congratulations!
That's it?
You've made it to the end of
That's
your
all
story.
that was left.
I have to say,
I'm so sorry. Shut up.
Nevertheless, I mean...
Okay, I'm really sorry. However, to make up for that, I did say that I was gonna do pretty much all the other choices in another video, where I go through all the endings, all the other choices we didn't do, the trainers we didn't do, and there's only one, which I believe is Sergeant. It would have been cool if we could have trained with Diana, but I guess that's not an option. So to make up for the fact that this is just this left, I did not know it was like literally 2 minutes left. I can't believe I ended it here. I was under the impression it was going to be like all the other ones where there's going to be a lot more content. We're going to go through all the endings in this particular session, okay? And see, because everybody wants me to go through all the endings, and I promised everybody I would eventually in that other video, or I'm actually planning to do a stream where I go through that. If you're not there for the stream, I'm going to upload the video anyway, but I was going to do that. So I'm just going to do, for Diana specifically, I'll go through her endings now. As far as I know, there's 2 of them, I think, 2 or 3. We'll try to get them all.
The final battle between Diana and the Demon Lord became quickly one-sided, as he was no match for the power she had gathered from your love.
Let's go, that's all it took? Take that, Sarah. She didn't need you. She just beat him outright, huh? I'm telling you, it's that nipple energy. I'm telling you, man. Ever since I saw it in the first episode, I knew, man. I knew that my nipples were powerful. Didn't know that they were that powerful, though. But you know what? I'll take it.
Guess the power of love really does conquer all.
Or nipples.
Anyway, when the war ended, the entire rebellion celebrated as Diana presented his head to the masses like a trophy before burning it and letting the ashes sink into the ground.
Kind of gross.
The day after, she became queen of the demon world. It definitely shocked her, and it took her a while to get used to being called Your Highness by the other demons, but you helped her through it.
Indeed.
Well, you and Sarah, anyway. Both of you pretty much became her anchors and support the entire time through her coronation and beginning to rule the world.
Great.
Sarah, being told of the deal she made with you, convinced you to stay in the demon world with them.
I would
so
hope.
that you'd be with her for the rest of your life. Though, I didn't think it was hard to convince you, was it?
No, I didn't know I needed convincing. What the fuck?
You love the dickens out of her. Come on!
Gross.
Still, from what I hear at least, the three of you live happily ever after. Huh? You don't believe me? Alright, check it out for yourself.
Like, I'm living it right now, right? I gotta check it out. The demon world finally knew peace. It was a grand moment. The sounds of a million cheers echoed and burning themselves in my memory in celebration for the end of the war. Diana had finally destroyed the Demon Lord, and soon enough we would watch her become the matriarch of the Abyssal Plains, uniting the entire world under her rule. It was almost too unreal to experience and see, as a human. However, I was happy for Diana, and I was proud to stand beside her, and support her through all of it. The war was an experience and a half, and I would never forget it for as long as I lived. As for me, I found myself drawn to Diana, hoping to spend every night with her in my arms. The human world became a faintly drifting memory as my life embedded itself into the demon world. Many demons questioned me, but Sarah and Diana defended me with every conflict that came. However, there was never a day that went by that I didn't wonder, did I make the right choice? It was a heavy chapter of my life, one that tested the love between me and Diana. My heart seemed to remind me that I had come to the demon world to help Diana, and now it was time for her to honor her end of the deal. She had to teach me everything about the 5 worlds and about magic. As a queen, that wasn't possible now. To my surprise, I didn't seem to mind. I had been given the experience of a lifetime, and I easily accepted it as a promise fulfilled. I mean, she technically did. I mean, she brought you there. Shit, go to what's his name? The dark dude, Shadow. Go to him. He's got an ass load of books. Read. Okay, read it. She doesn't need to show you. I'm sure he can tell you a lot of stuff. He knows a lot. The faint memory of my own power slightly tingled through me every time I grew confident, eagerly reminding me that I had strength of my own. I would never let anyone come between me and Diana ever again. The thoughts of it all echoed in my mind as I laid in bed, looking up at the ceiling with a wide smile on my face. Despite the dangers being real, the war was an adventure fun to look back upon in my memories. I took in a breath and let out a sigh, leaning back against the arm beneath my head and closing my eyes. I was at peace and everything was all right.
Are you okay, dear?
What is this? We're each sharing a nip? We're each sharing a boob? This is weird. Okay, this is kind of weird. Look at him. What the fuck? He's like, thank you for your nipple, Highness. Well, all's well that ends well. So, wait. Do we ever, like, does Sarah and this chick ever get it on? Or do they just double team her all the time? Questions that should be answered for another time, maybe. I opened my eyes at the sound of my pet name, looking up to see Dinah smiling down at me. I could only giggle and cuddle into her embrace. I was just thinking about us.
Who are you now? What about us?
With a smile, I nuzzled Dinah's chest softly, I'm sure, and closed my eyes, listening to her steady and loving heartbeat. How thankful I am to be here with you laying on your nips. Dinah stared down at me, gently hugging me to her. I could feel her own joy at the situation resonate from her embrace and her kiss over my head. Sarah only chuckled as he laid on her other side, listening to us speak to each other. Sarah and I had gotten over our differences, and I was positive that we would be perfect together taking care of our demon queen. We both adored Diana and found each other both equally held close to each side of her body on each boob every morning. We each shared a boob. I had the left one, he had the right one.
I am thankful that you're here too. Both of you. You have done so much for me, and I will cherish you forevermore.
I believed every word. I let her words embed themselves into my heart, and I would remember them forever. As Diana hugged Sarah and I to her, the three of us let out a simultaneous sigh of contentment. I would love her. This is just, I'm sorry, it's just kind of awkward. You know, it's cool. You know, I'm glad. It's all you know, it's a happy ending. It's just, it's kind of weird. You know, it's like we're nursing at the teat. I would love her and continue to hold her close for the rest of my life. Nothing would be able to tear me away from her any longer. And that was my perfect happily ever after, just suckling on the teat. I am thankful for you and you. So that was pretty cool. I think that ending, you know, it definitely is a satisfying ending where everything turned out well. However, apparently I think there's another ending which is pretty obvious where I think that, you know, you kind of just blow Sarah off and you just have her all to yourself. So let's go do that one real quick, okay? And I'm just gonna go through the choices really quickly. I may show you the choices that I feel are important, and then we'll skip to the end and see how that ending differs and how it all plays out. Does Sarah get pissed? Does he accept it? Does he, you know, what happens? Because I feel like Sarah's not going to like that too much. You know what I'm saying? So let's try it out and see what happens. All right. Oh, there's the tit swipe. Okay, we can't forget that. Kiss her. I love her too. Yeah. But I assume you're no. But she is important to me, but she's mine. There it is. Okay. Let's read this here. I could feel Sarah's gaze on me become stone cold. I didn't care. I loved Diana and I didn't want him to have her. Not after the things I had seen in my dreams. Oh shit. I continued to watch Diana. You don't deserve to love her. You'd hurt her if you got any closer. Damn. I was given silence to Sarah's reply. Wait, here it is.
I need a little help.
Okay, she needs help. And I could feel Sarah's gaze on my back. Would he step in and fight me, doing as she asked? I looked back to him, holding back a glare. His eyes flashed a soft white, revealing the crosses in his black irises as he simmered in his spot. Damn, he's pissed. This is different. Hold on. This is different. Here we go. I woke that morning, after sex, however, alone. I slowly sat up, feeling pillows beneath my head and Diana nowhere to be found. Diana? I looked around, confused and lost. Where did she go? She wouldn't have left the room without waking me up. I called out her real name, hoping she would appear on the sound of her true name. Still, nothing happened, and I was still alone. The stone in my gut suddenly pulsed, sending a wave of worry through my body. Wait, hold on. The stone in your gut? Does not sound healthy. Something was wrong. I quickly jumped out of bed, got dressed, and rushed to the war room in a panic. Maybe she was there, doing a meeting without me. Maybe I had overslept. Diana? Inside, however, were the demon rebel leaders and Sarah, all with equally worried faces.
She's not with you?
What? My eyes darted around the room, seeing no succubus in sight. I walked in, shaking my head at Rabbit's question, causing the people in the room to grow even more concerned faces.
This is a problem.
No shit! Where is she?
My eyes instantly went to Sarah, seeing him panic. His eyes darted back and forth on the table, his expression painted in utter fear. Suddenly, he began to storm out of the room.
I must find her!
It's on your own. Before anyone could stop him, he ran out of the room. No, join him. Fuck that. He wasn't the only one concerned about where Diana was. I rushed out after him, seeing him dart off down the hall. Cover more ground? No. I ain't follow. Should I follow? Yeah, let's follow. Maybe there's something suspicious going on. Let's follow him. I was suspicious of Sarah. Something about how he was going about this caused red flags to wave through my mind. Was he hiding her like in my dream? As I expected, Sarah stopped walking and opened a small passage hidden behind a large painting. Where was he going? I followed, determined to find Diana. I pushed the painting aside and wiggled into the passageway, becoming engulfed in darkness as the painting, on its own, closed behind me. It took every ounce of self-control to keep quiet and not gasp in surprise. I placed my hands on the walls and followed it forward, trying to remain quiet. As I reached the end, I found Sarah kneeling in the middle of a pitch-black room. Well, how did we see him then? I didn't understand how he was illuminated in the dark, but I watched as he lowered his head and prayed.
Please forgive me for what I must do. Look away for this one moment, for I work in the name and peace of the 5 worlds. I shall bear my sins to death and into purgatory for all of eternity.
Well, this doesn't sound good. I felt like running, rushing back out of the passage. Something was dark about this entire situation. You're in the demon world, girl. And the prayer Sarah muttered barely made sense. Why was he doing this? What the? Oh shit, his eyes. I didn't get a chance to run as Sarah suddenly looked back at me, locking eyes with me and freezing me in place. His eyes were glowing a pure golden color as large black crosses embedded themselves as his irises. Shit, we're probably fucked. My body was unable to move. It was probably a trap. He probably hit her. This is probably happening. My dream's probably coming true. I couldn't even breathe. I struggled against the hold on me, but found no avail. Sarah pointed his hand to me and willed my body forward into the dark space. With a dark smile, Sarah licked his lips, gross, and stood up, standing tall before me. As he stared down at me, I could feel the judgment and hatred in his eyes pierce into my soul, like I was a lowly being not worthy of the breath I was being denied.
Come here, human child.
God. I became both fearful and confused. What was happening? I could barely concentrate as the lack of air in my lungs caused the room around me to spin. My body quaked against Sarah's hold, but he continued to walk me forward towards him. As I came within arm's reach, Sarah gently wrapped his hand around my throat and lifted me up. The stones! In the dream! I could barely feel his grasp, nor could I flail about. Still caught in his spell, I could only let him move me further into the darkness, pressing me completely against the wall. Sarah lifted one of my arms to the side of me, stretching it out and pressing my hand back against the wall. On its own, it remained. As Sarah did the same to my other arm, I was completely open, as if I was laid against a cross. However, there was nothing holy about this. My vision began to darken as I suffocated, my body desperately clawing for air. As Sarah allowed air to fill my lungs, I gagged and coughed violently. Sarah, what are you doing to me? My voice was breathless, pain from being denied air. However, my body remained still in place, glued to the wall behind me. Oh. Sarah only smirked at me, holding his arms out. With a hideous laugh, Sarah observed me from my place on the invisible cross he had placed me on.
Rejoice, human. You are about to become part of something much grander than you could have ever imagined.
I hope not. What are you talking about? You're being gross, bro. Sarah laughed, arching back to cackle at the ceiling. As he looked back to me, I could see the jealous monster behind his frightening eyes.
You have no place here, human. You should be grateful that I am granting you a purpose, a gift from heaven above.
Zaire! I called out, desperate to stop Sarah at all costs. However, as it didn't work before, Dinah didn't appear. Sarah smirked even wider and stepped up to me, looking with the most maddening eyes I had ever seen.
You are unworthy of speaking her name.
Well, I snarled, pulling at my limbs to try and move. Alas, I could do nothing. Sarah stepped back and summoned his spear, dancing a hand over it and examining it in his grasp.
Whatever delusions you had of being with her will fade away as you pass on.
Well, that's fabulous. So that's it. You're gonna kill me? I'll haunt you for the rest of your life. I was frightened, but my anger masked my fear. I didn't want to die, but I wasn't going to cry in front of the sociopath wanting to take my life. As Sarah looked up at me again, he chuckled darkly.
You won't be able to haunt me from within heaven's gates.
Oh, that's where we're going? I mean, it doesn't sound too bad. What?
That's right. I plan to baptize you, cleansing you of all of your sins before I trade your life for a promise from heaven's most powerful angels. You will be bathed in light and will forever live in the city of heaven. Isn't that such a wonderful gift?
I mean, it could be a lot fucking worse. I'll be honest. You know what I'm saying? But still, what the hell's going on? I tried to find some sort of weakness in Sarah. As I stared into his eyes, I figured out what the hell he was. You're an angel? Oh, that's right. We wouldn't have known that this time. Sarah grimaced at the word, shaking his head. Oh, he doesn't like that? What the heck?
Half. I am what angels call a tainted Nephilim, one who is born both by the light of heaven and of the taint of magic. I was dropped into this world after being born, and I was cursed to never return.
Well, that's great. I stared, unbelieving what I was hearing. However, Sarah smiled at an almost innocent smile as his gaze softened.
However, I was blessed enough to be found by Uzziah's father and mother. They took me in, and when I started to walk, they introduced me to their daughter, my lady Uzziah. I've been by her side ever since, but when I was old enough to know of love, her family realized what I was.
Oh geez, so they didn't even know? Sarah ran his fingers along his chest, over the large scar that decorated his skin.
I was tortured by the king's men, and was chained in the lowest cell of the dungeon. I was there for God knows how long until Uzziah found me, and demanded I be released to her. She saved me from a fate worse than death.
That's great. Oh, so that's why he's so devoted. Sarah looked at his hand, aside from loving her too. Sarah looked at his hand, shaking as a crazed smile painted itself across Sarah's cheeks.
She is my goddess, my savior, my purity. She took pity on a being like me, and even showed me how to truly love. I was blessed to feel her lips on mine, her hands across my skin, the warmth of her innocence.
Great. My stomach began to churn, disgusted by Sarah's filthy expression. As he looked up at me, he suddenly glared hard.
Then you came and demanded that she be yours. You dared to claim her when she is not yours to take.
This is crazy, man. Is one of the endings death? Fear suddenly took control of my core. It was true. I had tried to take her as my own, pushing Sarah violently away. Was this my just desserts? No, it couldn't have been. I loved her and wanted to protect her. Sarah spit on the ground, laughing quietly.
Well, as her honored protector and lover, I will permanently remove that little delusion of yours. You will no longer have the chance to take her away, or be with her ever again.
Well, fantastic. Sarah was insane. He bared his teeth in a wild smile as he set his spear beside him.
You will be in heaven, and Desire will rule over the demon world as its true queen until she dies. When that time comes, we will go together to Purgatory and live within its eternal realm in peace.
In peace? Purgatory isn't supposed to be good. You're a monster.
A monster I may be, but I will happily bear that sin if I can protect her from you.
Well. Suddenly, Sarah twirled his spear around and rammed it into my stomach. Well, damn it, there goes my frickin' intestines, causing me to choke out a cry of pain. My body. This doesn't sound like a baptism at all. My body shook from the intense pain as blood dribbled from the wound down Sarah's spear.
I cleanse you of your sins. May heaven embrace your spirit and welcome you into its white city.
The soft feeling of feathers danced over my skin. What the hell? I could feel my mind becoming quickly blank. All the memories I had suddenly began to burn away. My friends, my family, the demon world, everything was being dissolved into nothing. My vision became dark as the pain ripped through my body. The spear remained within my body, draining me of life, before I finally embraced death. Damn it. I can hear Sarah speak one last phrase.
It is finished. My sweet, beautiful Isaiah. While I would hold you in my arms forever, your people need you.
Where's your hand, bro? Your other hand seems to be quite low. What is that around her neck? This is weird.
But I wish to stay with you longer.
We cannot stay long, but if you insist...
I do.
As you wish, my queen.
Well, that was darker than I thought it would be. So everything did come true. We died, and he took control of her with that mind thing. And now she's like... Well, I don't know what she is. But repent for your sins. That's the end of this one, so that's pretty crazy. So I guess I just won't follow him next time. It was a ruse. I followed him, and he just trapped me. He knew I was gonna follow him. So that's great. Okay, well, let's get the other ending, because that was kind of weird. That was actually really dark. I didn't expect that at all. So the choices, this was weird. Okay, so the choices that I went through this time around after getting the bad ending, they weren't the same. I don't think I chose anything different, but it brought me to this. I chose the same things, and after the dance, it brought me to here after I was skipping. So it went right to this. There was no disappearing or anything like that. I chose. There was one thing that was different. Okay, that I think led to this. Instead of it saying like, I want to be the one to love her, or she's mine, right? That choice was not there. It was something like, and she means a lot to me instead of that. So I think that might have led to this. It was weird because it weren't the same choices all the way through. I was expecting them to be, but they were not. But all the ones that were the same I chose. That was the one thing that was different, and I chose, but she means a lot to me. And it brought me here. So instead of saying, I know you love her too, because that obviously leads probably more to the, we just double team her ending. I'm going to choose, I want to be the one to make her happy, which is like a solo route, I think. So let's choose that. I truly loved her and wanted to be with her for the rest of my life. I knew that Sarah had been with her his entire life, but I couldn't stop what I was feeling for his sake. Sarah stared hard at me, taking in what I was saying before raising his spear, pointing it at me.
You truly love her?
I do. I'm sorry if that upsets you. A moment passed. What would Sarah do? I prayed that he wouldn't strike me down. This is a lot more tame than what he did before. I hoped that he was willing to listen and promise. and compromise. A small chuckle escaped Sarah's lips, causing me to look at him in confusion. His face painted his concern and his strange thoughts on his almost humorous situation. As he lowered his spear, he shook his head.
It doesn't upset me. I just want Zaire to be happy.
As do I. Sarah locked eyes with me, gazing into my soul. Okay, so let's move on.
Then you should continue being at her side.
Okay. I was astonished. Sarah was giving me his blessing. I wasn't sure what to say. I opened my mouth to speak, but nothing was able to come out from the sheer shock I was in. Sarah, however, chuckled quietly, holding his forehead.
How pathetic am I? I was ready when Diana went off to marry her betrothed, but I'm nowhere near ready for this.
What? I couldn't help but frown. Sarah deeply loved Diana, and I felt horrible having to be the one to break his heart. Still, I couldn't lie to myself about this. I would have been in the same position if Sarah took her away from me. I took a breath, trying to be strong. I'm sorry. I promise, though, that I will protect and love her for the rest of my life. With a grimace, Sarah looked to me once more, judging my truth. When he found no deceit, he nodded and took a shaky breath. For the first time since we had met, it was the first time I saw him give up. Oh, that's sad.
What is going on?
I don't like this ending. Sarah and I suddenly looked to the direction of Diana's voice, seeing her completely red in the face in anger. As she walked forward, Sarah bowed his head in submission.
My lady,
I asked Sarah if we could talk in private. I wanted to ask him if it was okay to be with you. He's part of your family, after all. Sarah looked up at me in shock, but not in an unpleasant way. He seemed more surprised that I was covering for him, if anything. Diana looked to Sarah, seeing his expression, before looking to me in mild curiosity.
You asked him if you could be with me?
I nodded, pulling her to me slightly. As I softly said her real name, she slightly gasped in shock. Zaire, I love you, and I want to be with you forever. I know that I'm just a human, but I want to be by your side and love you for the rest of my days. Which probably aren't long in this world. Diana was completely speechless. She stared deep into my gaze, both in shock and in utter amazement. I, however, stood my ground. My heart was in the air, hoping it wouldn't come crashing down. As Diana smiled, however, it began to swell. Okay, that does not sound healthy. Diana gently held my cheek and caressed it lovingly. Which one?
I would be honored to call you mine, my heart.
What? I couldn't stop myself from crying. My chest became overwhelmed by emotions of love that I almost couldn't contain myself. Well, don't pop shit. Sarah stood and smiled at me, at the both of us, causing us to look over. Diana's hand squeezed over mine as she looked apologetically at her guard.
Sarah,
It's all right, my lady. All I have ever wanted was your happiness.
Sarah walked over and gently leaned over, kissing Diana's cheek before stepping back.
I will serve you and protect your love for as long as I live.
I don't like this ending. It's sad. Diana choked a sob, covering her mouth as tears gently began to flow from her eyes. Sarah only smiled and walked around us towards where the castle was, leaving us together. We watched him go before turning to each other. I wiped away Diana's tears as she slowly tried to calm down, despite it being futile. I chuckled a bit at the sight. I love you, Zaire. Diana took a breath, trying to regain herself, before pulling me to her and wrapping her arms around me.
I love you too.
Great! We broke a guy's heart and now we're in love. I leaned up and captured her lips in mine, earning a sweet kiss back. As our lips touched, the wind around us picked up, causing the leaves on the tree above us to sway and Diana's nipples to get hard. Pink and purple leaves that had fallen from the branches flew up and danced around us ecstatically, as if the world was giving us its blessing. I was more than happy to be with this woman, and I vowed to give her everything as she would do the same for me. We were completely happy. The energy that sparked within Diana completely filled her with power, giving her the strength to completely annihilate the Demon Lord's army almost single-handedly. Alright, so let's see if it finishes the same way.
Far and wide.
So she won.
You would think demons would be
everything came together.
Battle between Diana and the Demon Lord.
She won because of my nips.
Sarah began to focus more on the military and only guarded Diana publicly. When they were out of the public eye, however, Sarah left her to you to care for. Diana always preferred your company regardless. You got her wrapped around your little finger, don't you?
Yes, among other things.
There's still the question of what you'll do now that the demon war is over. You'll figure it out, I'm sure.
Good stuff, good stuff.
Are
okay.
you okay, dear?
What is that? Second time they've been covered up. It looks like just one mound. What the fuck's this? Where's the other boob? I opened my eyes at the sound of my pet name, looking up to see Diana smiling at me from her side of our bed. I could only giggle and cuddle close to her. feeling her wrap her arms around me. I was just thinking about us.
Were you now? What about us?
With a smile, I nuzzled Dinah's chest softly and closed my eyes, listening to her steady and loving heartbeat. How thankful I am to be here with you. Dinah stared down at me, gently hugging me to her. I could feel her own joy at the situation resonate from her embrace and her kiss over my head.
I am thankful that you're here too. You have done so much for me, and I will cherish you forevermore.
Great. I couldn't help but look up at her beautiful ruby eyes, feeling her stroke my cheek lovingly. Which one?
I vow to make you happy and protect you with my life.
Damn, you're vowing that? Great. And I love you, Azair. The sound of her real name rolling off my tongue made her giggle and nuzzle closer to me. I loved her real name, and I loved holding her against me.
I love you.
Delicious. I believed every word. I let her words embed themselves into my heart, and I would remember them forever. As Diana hugged me to her warm body and nips, we let out a simultaneous sigh of contentment. I would love her and continue to hold her close for the rest of my life. Nothing would be able to tear me away from her any longer. And that was my perfect happily ever after. So that's pretty cool. The right choice. What the I don't think so. I mean, what do you guys think? All right, guys. Well, that is going to wrap it up here for Seduce Me. Actually, the whole game now is over. We're going to jump to the giveaway here, right here, and then we'll pick it up in 1 second. All right, guys. So welcome to the giveaway. Here are your names as usual. I'm just going to go ahead and run through the list really quickly. Go ahead and pause and check to make sure your name is there. Should be. I double checked to make sure everyone was there since the last time, and I've added the names since then. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying the game. I mean, the game is over now, but hopefully you did enjoy, you know, everything that we've done together. I really enjoyed it personally. So here we go is the final code that we have to give away for Seduce Me 2, the Demon War. Let's go ahead and do it. Good luck to everybody. 3, 2, 1. All right. Erica Crane is going to be the very final claim or code claimed in the series. Again, I'll try to work something out with, you know, the developer Michaela Laws for the following little episodes. I can't promise anything naturally, but I'll see what I can do. It really just depends on how all this plays out. And again, Erica Crane, you're going to need to drop a comment down below letting me know that you won, that you're claiming your code. That way I know you're actually receiving it. If that doesn't happen by the time we get to the let's say the second episode that's, you know, that follows the game, the little mini episodes, I will actually, you know, do another giveaway to give away the code for those people. And I'll let you know if anyone claims the code. The best way to do that is probably follow me on Twitter. I'll be shouting that out. You know, I'll let you know by episode 1 if anyone's claimed the code yet. That way you guys can even, you know, put more entries in for episode 1. I wouldn't mind doing that either. So with that being said, let's go back to the game here and close this out. All right, guys. So welcome back to the giveaway. Congratulations to the last winner. Again, I'll try to make something happen for the episodes. I haven't talked to Michaela Laws yet, but I'll see what I can do for the following episodes. I have to figure out how to get them, because I don't think you can get them through Steam or through the game. Maybe you can, I don't know, if they're like a secret or something, but we're going to figure out all that stuff in the coming days. But, I mean, guys, we finally finished Seduce Me. The game was absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. I don't think there was a single time where I didn't want to sit down and record this game. Like, it was always a pleasure to record and make videos about. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. I mean, this was a great game. Let me know, out of all of the routes, okay, between the guys and Diana, which route you liked the best. I really liked the Diana route. It was a bit shorter than the rest, but it felt like it was a completely different story. Like, all the other routes felt similar in some way or another, but this one just felt more, you know, unique because it was completely different in many ways. I really like Sam's route. You know, I liked James's route, like, because that was the first one that I did. It was the first route that I actually completed. And I really liked that one to begin with, but I gotta admit, I really liked Damien's. And I think Damien's and Sam's route were my two favorite, because I feel like their story just had so much in them, you know what I mean? Keep an eye out for a stream in the near future where I'm going to go through all of the other choices. Like for example, we never did Sergeant. We never trained with Sergeant. So it'll be pretty cool to see just a snippet of what his training looked like. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't make the stream, don't worry. I'm going to upload it to YouTube as well. So if you don't make the stream, you know, you don't have to worry. You're going to see it one way or the other. But I will give you guys an announcement via a video as well as a Twitter announcement. If you are following me on Twitter, if you're not, definitely go do that because you'll always know when I upload videos and you'll always know my streams go live and all that good stuff. So, and we also talk a lot on Twitter too. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, definitely do that. It's at Mr. Basie on Twitter. So basically, you know, let me know what you thought about all this. It's going to be really awesome moving from this into the episodes and then into maybe another visual novel. I'm honestly looking forward to Remember, which is another one of another one of Michaela Law's projects. And I think that, you know, it's going to be, I think it's going to be great. I love the demo, and a lot of you did as well, so I can't wait to get my hands on that. But we'll have to tackle some other visual novels, and I know you guys gave me a lot of suggestions, so thank you for that. Alright guys, and with that being said, definitely make sure you rate the video what you think it deserved. If you did enjoy, please consider sharing the video as well. That kind of stuff really helps me out a lot, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or any social media really, or even word of mouth with your friends. That's really awesome too. Of course, that directly helps me as well as the entire community and is greatly appreciated. So with that being said, if you want to become a sage in training, make sure you subscribe today. And as always, this has been Mr. Basie, your favorite sage, and I'll see you in the next video.